Okay, well, how do we start this? What about Dobrodzej, Marmota, Pijatelli, Vol Suto, K, Nikagas, Ne, Zeverusu? Or another way of putting that was North Macedonian, by the way, for welcome my friends to the show that never ends. There you go, Kieran.
That was well researched. Well done, mate.
Yeah, you're impressed with that, are you? Yeah. Oh, there we go. So when we go to North Macedonia, when we're allowed, I'll be able to have a chat with them. Now, so it's actually Tuesday night. I had to think about that. Being at work, caught the last game. I have to say, I did watch the last game. Wish I'd seen the game before, because that was the one game I haven't watched. Out of all the games, I missed the Portugal game.
Bless you.
I know, it's not fair, is it? Because that one would have been the best, wouldn't it?
Well, from today.
Right, well, we'll start with a couple of interesting little stories going on. Well, first of all, let's have a quick look at the front page. And Cristiano Ronaldo becomes top scorer in European Championship history. Well done, Ronaldo. We'll have another statue.
I mean, in all fairness, he has gone to 5 tournaments. Be a bit annoyed if he wasn't top scorer by now.
This is true. Ronaldo's not just about Ronaldo. Ronaldo's Coca-Cola gesture caused $4 billion to be knocked off the company's market value. How about that? Just like that. Scott Parker to leave Fulham and take over at Bournemouth. Not a lot to do with the Euros, but I think he's on his way up. He could be Germany's next manager, maybe.
Germany's?
Yeah.
What, from Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Not quite, but...
Jack Grealish misses England training ahead of Scottish clash. So here's another reason. Isn't this another reason Mr. Manager can say, well, I was going to play him, but then he got injured. A bit like Trent Alexander-Arnold. Well, I will now put him in the team. And, oh, blimey, he got an injury. Otherwise, I would have played him.
Such a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. Jamie Vardy becomes co-owner of US club Rochester Rhinos. So we all know where he's off to next, don't we?
Well, it's not a bad idea, to be fair to him.
You like that idea, do you?
Oh, you might as well own the club you play for.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, then. Okay. Well, I'm 2-1 up on the scores, Kieran. So let's go through one at a time. And where else can we start other than...
It's great you saying that, because you know that you're going to go further in front as well, because we've just discussed it before. And
do you know, I only got 2 Wickham scores right, and I'm just about to go ahead. Scotland. Well, first of all, that was the longest goal ever, wasn't it? Was it 47 metres?
In a Euros game. Yeah.
Oh, no, it was 49.7. And do you know what the XG of that goal was? Ridiculously 0.5.
Do you mean 0.05?
Yeah, so no, 2%, which is 0. Yes, 0. Yeah, sorry.
Well, 2% is 0.02.
Yeah, it's all right. It's my shirt's getting in my face, you know. Getting confused.
Yeah, so 0.02. So.
Yeah, 0.02. Yeah, which is, well, whatever.
Well, I suppose they have to give it at least 1, do they?
Well, I think so. I guess. It was a good goal, wasn't it? The second one. But what did you watch that game?
I didn't watch all of it. I watched bits of it. You could obviously get the gauge it from the highlights as well. Felt a bit felt a bit sad for Scotland because from the chances they had compared to. Now the thing is, for some weird reason I haven't got the genetics of everyone else who is English, and I kind of wanted Scotland to do well because probably because I quite like Robertson, I quite like some of their other players, and they had quite a few decent opportunities compared to Czech Republic.
Yeah,
but just couldn't finish them off, unfortunately. There was their number 9. Who was Scotland's number 9? Can't remember, but there was a few chances that he had that weren't taken very well at all. Like, it wasn't like the keeper pulled off a great save. Like, he did save it, but like he could definitely put it in the corner a bit more.
Do you want me to sum up Scotland's 3 games they're going to have? They've obviously had one, got 2.
Go on, mate.
Number 1, well, just to say they play 3. Their first game is their opening big chance. Their second game is their last chance. And their third game is they'll be playing for honour.
Something like that, to be honest. Yeah.
That'll sum up their games.
Well, it's kind of a bummer for them that they've got to play England next, isn't it? Because, I mean, realistically, we should have no issue against Scotland.
He says.
He says. I mean, do they have any chance against us?
It's because it's against England. They always have a chance.
That's like any derby, isn't it? The lower team have a chance because it's a derby as opposed to anything else.
Yeah. Let's be honest. It will be England versus Robertson.
Yeah.
I watched the Scottish game. If Robertson wasn't on the pitch, there'd be nobody on the pitch.
No.
And do you know what was interesting was I heard a chat with a goalkeeping coach about old Marshall standing where he was when that goal went in. And the funny part was they asked him the straight question of, so should he be standing there on the pitch? I mean, how do you train the goalkeepers, because you're obviously now passing back to them, they're fighting to blah blah, and he says, well, personally I thought he was slightly too high.
No.
And I thought, I wonder how much this goalkeeping coach earns. Yeah.
That's great, isn't it, that?
Yeah, I thought that was true.
Well, I mean, all the Scottish players and the manager said that he was in the right position. It's one of those freak goals. Which is
they train them to go up there. They train them to go up there to get the ball back as fast as possible.
I mean, unfortunately, it's a 1 in 150 odd games that will happen to you, and this just happened to be the one.
Yeah, I didn't think though. In all honesty, I thought Scotland weren't one of the best teams I've seen. Is the honest truth?
No,
I thought most of them were average at best. The Bristol player looked like he come from Bristol. That was it. The Dumfries player looked like he comes from Dumfries. And Robertson looked like he played for a top Premier League team, and he looked world class. And that was the honest truth.
It's one of the international teams, isn't it, that have one or two extraordinary players, and the rest of the team make up the numbers, don't they?
They needed tyranny, didn't they?
Yeah.
But would that have been enough? Because I'm telling you, their forwards would have missed them anyway.
Well, probably not. It's a bit like Bale for Wales, Alaba for Austria, Lewandowski for Poland. Like, you can have 1 or 2 great players, but it doesn't mean that you can't get carried in football, unfortunately.
No, you can't. And I have to say, I thought that this is where deciding on who looks great and who doesn't on one game is impossible, because the Czech Republic looked good. Okay, it's the honest truth, and I wonder who made them look good.
It's difficult in the Euros, isn't it? Because you do have to judge teams after one game. because they can be out after 2.
Yeah. And talking about after 2, let's get to. So, just out of interest, have you got any more to say about Scotland? I mean, you say you feel a bit sorry for them, blah blah blah. Do I feel sorry for them? Well, I don't know. It's Scotland, isn't it?
They won't get through, unfortunately. I don't think, but I think they deserve to get something out of that game based on the chances they had.
Really?
Mm.
We spoke about, how many sort of, this for this player and 6 point what's it for England. I'm surprised at how high they've given the Scottish players, giving them a 7.5 and 7.1, and I thought that was a bit over the top, I have to say. But all the Czech Republic players are really high in numbers. They've given them, they've only given one player less than a 7. But there you go. They did talk about, did he have the wrong lineup and all that? The Scottish manager, well.
I think that's another thing with the media as well nowadays, of course, and social media, is that, especially in our country, we're going to big up Scotland and Wales to do well at the Euros because we know some of the players, we know
as we do
what
England.
they can do tactically, as we do England. And there's nothing wrong with that, apart from the fact that everyone needs to still remember that this is Scotland's first major tournament in 24 years. They don't expect us to do anything. Neither are Wales. So, I mean, if they don't do anything, then at the end of the day, that's unfortunate, but that's what it is. It's where they expect us to do.
The interesting thing is, as I've repeated on every programme so far, the thing missing in all these teams, bar about 4, are centre forwards, decent ones. There aren't any there, except for a few teams.
Yeah.
Scotland expected goals was 1.95.
Would have got a draw.
Sorry?
Would have got a draw if they'd scored them.
Yeah. And the Czech Republic was 1.09. And Scotland had 19 shots, 15 chances created, 2 big chances. Well, that sums it up, doesn't it?
Just weren't clinical on the day, were they?
No.
Unfortunately.
19 shots.
I mean, quite honestly, they would have done very well to get through anyway. They still have to get something out of either England or Croatia if they were to beat the Czech Republic. But, yeah, there's very little chance for them now, unfortunately.
Yeah, little chance. Poland, Slovakia. You've seen the highlights. Oh, just to say, Scotland Republic, I said 1-1, you said 2-1 to Scotland. So we both got that wrong.
Oh, well.
We would say, if I was really being funny, I would say I was nearer, but I won't. That's not the point.
You ain't having that.
No, I'm not having that. Poland, Slovakia. I loved this game. I thought Slovakia looked fun. Okay. I put 2-1 to Poland and got it completely wrong. And you said 1-1. So we both got that one completely wrong. Now, Poland had a player sent off, which was, I thought he was a bit harsh with the first yellow card, the second one dead right. Yeah. But here's the point. Lewandowski, they've got one of the top goal scorers on that football pitch. As you've mentioned before, maybe the best, in fact.
Him and Kane.
He had 4 touches in the box and they weren't shots, just touches. There were 35 crosses into the box for him. And what'd you say? What can you say?
Well, I saw that in major tournaments of Poland, he's scored, I think, 1 goal in 10 games. And the thing is, you can't imagine or say that it's him because he does it week in, week out for whichever club he's been at. And so you'd imagine it's something to do with the way that Poland's set up that just doesn't get the best out of him. Or maybe the teams that Poland's come up against in qualifiers and the teams they come up against in the actual major tournament are so different in quality that they just don't know how to get the ball to him or create that decent enough chance. I think the one thing with Lewandowski opposed to Kane is that Lewandowski sometimes requires the ball to be put on a plate for him, which obviously the Poland players are less likely to do.
It looked like he was waiting for a tap-in. And they had nobody to create a tap-in, was what it looked like to me.
Yeah. I think of the 41 goals he scored in the league this season, I think 40 of them were inside the box. So they obviously are trying to get the ball into the box to him, but it's not like he scores headers. It's on the floor, tick-attack around the box, and then something happens, which they didn't do.
I loved Slovakia, and I think they are going to be... I can't wait to see them play a decent team. Actually, I think that then we find out. I mean, there was a couple of their players. You have to say the guy that scored goal,
Skriniar.
Yeah, he looked good. I thought. I mean, he's a centre back, and I thought he did a brilliant job. And in fact, so did the other guy, Saka. I mean, they just shut Poland out. I mean, excellent job. And Ukra, midfield. Oh, wow. He really impressed. Can't say I'll go too much for the haircut, but he stood out. I have to say,
his haircut wasn't that bad, was it? I see a picture of him now. It's just a quiff.
Yeah. I mean, the guy with the funny haircut that wins the haircut award is Hamsik.
Well, I have a shirt of his, don't I? So
Hamsik.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody interested in having a look at Hamsik's haircut? And if you're thinking, well, what can I possibly say about that? If you look at his, I think I'll win for a better award haircut. But certainly Hamsik comes close to winning the best haircut award. So he looks aggressive, doesn't he? I mean, that you have to say with him running at you, don't matter where, down an alley, on a football pitch, you would run the other way, wouldn't you?
Yeah. He's interesting, isn't he? Because he's gone to China now.
That's right.
To make the money. Because he always has been like one of the not quite top tier midfielders in Europe, but he was definitely up there. Like his name was out there.
Well, when did you buy that shirt? That was years ago, wasn't it?
2012, 13.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And because I knew him from before, and I was only 11, 12, and I wasn't that knowledgeable about football at that point. And so the fact that I knew him back then just shows.
Yeah.
He's not overly old. I think he's probably early 30s.
Yeah.
But he's definitely one of the leaders and characters in that Slovakia team.
Yeah.
They could do something. They could be a dark horse.
I think they're fascinating, and I can't wait to see them play a team like Sweden. Now, I think they're going to knock them across the pitch. They're not going to be treated well. Can I just say at this point? I mean, although we're on game 2, can I just mention those long distance goals, Kieran? How many did you score in your career so far?
Trying to think.
From the halfway line, you've scored a couple, haven't you?
I definitely got one because that was the first goal I ever scored. That was against top of the league in a 2-2 draw for a under-9s team.
Under-9.
Did I score another? I don't think I did. I think I hit the bar a couple of times from the halfway line. Whether they were intentional or not, I don't know. But I definitely scored one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What hat trick yesterday? Actually, if
you got a hat trick yesterday. Well, I tell you what, Germany could do with you, couldn't they?
Yeah.
So their players can run fast. So what? You know, I mean, I'm sorry, but so what? We'll come on to that, of course. Then we come to, I have to say, the drag game is one I'd give this a title, the drag game.
Possession game.
Spain, Sweden. Sweden did their job. Spain. Do you know Morata? He's never scored more than 15 goals in the league in a season, and it shows. So why do people presume he's any good?
He had a season for Juventus where he was very good, but that season has never happened since.
Why don't they use Moreno? Is that his name?
Moreno, yeah.
Why don't they use him? Why is he on the bench?
Well, he missed a few sitters as well, didn't he? He missed a few, at least. There was a lot of chance in that game. I mean, Sweden missed a couple of sitters as well. I don't know what the expected goals is. I'm sure you got it in front of you, but it must be high.
Do you know how much Morata has cost teams over the last few years?
Isn't he one of the top, ever? Isn't he like
150 million pounds has been spent on buying him from different places to different places. People have spent 151 million quid on him.
Well, the echelon of team he's played for, like Real Madrid, Juventus, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, he's been everywhere.
He's been around and can't score for anyone. And now they're trying to get rid of him, aren't they? They're trying to they're almost trying to give him away, aren't they?
Is he still at Atletico?
Yeah, he's in Madrid, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know where he's been actually this season. I'm going to assume Atletico. I don't actually know. But I mean, that probably shows having heard his name all season.
Yeah, I thought it was Real Madrid, but that was only through what they said yesterday, and I might have completely missed that. And working out the way I know things and don't know things, I'd go for I'm wrong.
He is at he's at Juventus. On loan from Atletico.
Right. So they don't want him.
Season. Yeah.
Okay, expected goals then was Spain 2.35 and Sweden 1.17. 17 shots from Spain, 4 from Sweden. Sweden weren't even in the game though, were they, in the first half?
No.
12 chances created for Spain, only 1 from Sweden. How can chances created be 1? And then they say, but they had 2 big chances. So they didn't create both of them then.
I think I remember what one of them definitely was because it was an open goal. It was a sitter. Yeah. Can't remember the other one, but
here's your interesting bit of information. Accurate passes. How's this one? Spain. 829. Sweden 89.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It was a record, wasn't it?
One of them was obviously sitting in there, weren't they?
And the funny thing was, Thiago wasn't even playing for half the time, was he? And he's known for being the possession man.
What a dreadful game.
Yeah. The highlights looked fun because everyone just kept missing. But yeah, the one thing to say about Sweden is their striker, Isaac. He looked a handful and is being eyed up by many a European club this summer. So he's one to watch out for.
Isaac, yeah, they took him off.
Which seems weird. Yeah, I can't remember who it is he plays for. I think it's a La Liga team. But he scored quite a few this season. I think he's only 18, 19. So he is definitely one to watch out for.
Yeah, they subbed him with 20 minutes to go. Strange. That was odd. That meant they were really hanging on in there and had every reason to go for a point. Well, I mean, basically, then what we're saying is we went to the Group D we had England, Scotland, Croatia, Czechoslovakia. Are you keeping that in that order?
What did we say? Scotland above Croatia?
Yeah, England, Scotland, Croatia,
swapping,
Czech Republic.
We're swapping that then, aren't we?
What, the Czech Republic and Scotland, or what?
England, Croatia, Czech Republic, Scotland. You would have thought Czech Republic, Croatia might actually be a very interesting game. Because if Czech Republic can win that, then flipping it. And I wouldn't be surprised because obviously we weren't very impressed by Croatia.
Well, I thought the Czech Republic would beat Croatia. And I think they're going to be our toughest opponents. That's what I think. Having seen them now. So, and this Group E, Spain, Poland, Sweden, Slovakia. We put it in order of Spain, Sweden, Poland, Slovakia. This one's going to get turned upside down as well, isn't it? I mean, the question is, will Spain beat Poland, and will they?
I'd still back Spain to do that. I would say Spain, Slovakia, Sweden, and Poland. The bottom three could be anything, actually. That group is very interesting because Spain aren't completely convincing.
Well, do you know, I mean, we'll come to Group F in a sec, but do you know every favourite except for Spain in all 6 groups won their first game? Okay, so it all played out to so that was Italy, Belgium, Netherlands, England, France, and then Spain were the only ones that didn't.
It wasn't like Spain shouldn't have won their game. They should have won that easily.
Should anybody ever do anything easily? Well, there's a question.
That's pretty deep.
Next, then. Hungary and Portugal. Hungary, Portugal. Oh, just to say, I mean, I don't want to, brag. Yeah, because we did say, I said 2-0 to Spain. You said 3-1. Not a hope in there, was there, of anybody scoring goals? Hungary and Portsmouth, on the other hand, I had 3-0. Portsmouth. Well, I've just written Port, and it just sort of, Portugal. I put 3-0 to Portugal, and guess what? And you had 2-0 to Hungary. No, you didn't. You had 4-0 to Portugal. So I'm 3-1 up, Kieran. I've got 3 scores right.
Honestly, how you've managed to get 3-0 out of the match being 0-0 at 80 minutes is absurd.
I knew it was happening. I'm just good at reading football, mate.
Reading the game.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, I didn't watch that game. I'm afraid I was at work, so I could hardly tell all the young people, look, I want to discuss your depression, but there's a football match on.
But actually, Ronaldo's just broken the record, so I need to go watch that.
Yeah, I couldn't say that because 49 free kick goals, which was in major tournaments. Were any of them free kicks? Direct free kicks? No. Right, because he's waiting to score his 50th direct free kick in a major tournament as well. He's got 49 so far.
You mean throughout his whole career in every competition? In
major tournaments.
So that includes the league.
Yeah.
Obviously.
No.
Yeah, he's not going to have scored 49 free kicks in World Cups and European Championships, is he?
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Surely. I wouldn't. I mean, he's very good, but surely not.
No. So, what were his goals like? Tell me what the game was like. I missed it.
Well,
Give me all the details, all the excitement, all the thrills.
Portugal on top, as you can imagine, Hungary holding on for their lives, which they did for 80 minutes. They even scored at one point, and the crowd went absolutely berserk, but it was probably the length of my house offside. So why the liner just didn't put up the flag, I don't know. Maybe he wants to like piss off the Hungary fans, which he definitely did. Jota looked decent. Ronaldo missed a sitter in the first half. Bruno Fernandes, as he always has done this season, has gone missing.
Sorry?
He goes missing in big games. If you count this as a big game, I don't know, but he didn't do a lot.
Right.
And then their first goal, 84th minute, was a deflection. Of course it was. That completely wrong-footed the keeper. Nothing they could have done about that. Unfortunately, that really demoralised Hungary. Portugal went and got a penalty because Hungary had all their players at one end, and Portugal just on the counter-attack. Ronaldo scores the penalty, of course he does.
Oh, it was a penalty, was there?
His first goal was a penalty. Second goal was take attack on the edge of the box. It was actually quite nice. He should never have been onside for the second goal, for his second goal. But the Hungary's defensive line was really bad. But I'm sure Cristiano was very happy about it, so there's that. And he drank some water afterwards. So
did he? Sure, it wasn't vodka.
Well, I'd imagine not, but maybe it was. Have a bit of a sesh after being hungry.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The water to go with the hunger, because yeah. And well, I did come across something how shocked people were when listening to Mount discuss he doesn't drink alcohol. And people saying, doesn't drink alcohol, but he's a young lad. And they were trying to say people don't understand that some of these players take their job seriously, and therefore are keeping fit and looking after themselves, not like Paul Gascoigne. And that, you know, a lot of these lads don't knock themselves out on a regular basis, and that they do prepare themselves for football matches.
Not even just Paul Gascoigne, pretty much every player before the 1990s.
Yes.
Before Mr. Wenger came over, really.
Well, yes, as we've discussed before, in fact, and Sam Allardyce. He made. And yeah, I mean, not like the old days with Wycombe Wanderers being interviewed on TV, passing the cigarette around. Yeah, don't see that very often. So, did they deserve it?
Yeah.
Easy, was it?
Whether they were less impressive than they should have been, considering like they're probably second, third favourites for this tournament in my book. They should have, finished the game off a lot earlier than they did. But I suppose every team during the tournament has a little stutter somewhere. And if this was their stutter, then flipping heck, they'll be scary if they're going to be consistent the rest of the tournament. Whether they were good enough to beat France or Germany, I don't know, though.
Hungary,
bless them. No, not going to happen.
Hungary, the team at the bottom there.
Germany and France will twat them, unfortunately.
So in fact, I'm not going to see Hungary play 3 games.
You will?
No, because I've missed one.
Oh, well. Oh, you only see 2 then.
Yeah. Okay. Good on Ronaldo, eh?
Bless him. He's gone and got his record, hasn't he? He's happy now.
Yeah, we're pleased for him. Yeah. Okay. This is really FOTMob is really annoying because I put up today's and I've got all the World Cup qualification second round Group A. So if you're interested, China beat Syria 3-1, and Bahrain beat Hong Kong 4-0. But we we could do a complete session on these if you want, but then I come down to the Euros. France, Germany. Well, I rush home from work for this. Was it worth it?
Not particularly.
It
was okay.
It's interesting. Let's put it that way. It was interesting. As a football fan,
yes,
it was interesting. Well, what can I say other than that, really? I mean, no, it wasn't particularly exciting. It never was going to be. I mean, we almost blow these games up, don't we? But they're tactical and they're careful, and they're not going to throw silly goals away. It is going to be your Poland, Slovakias, where the chances arrive and are a bit more, entertaining, or Scotland, Czech Republic, that are going to provide the chit chat, because that's where your mistakes are made and things are blown out of proportion. I mean, mind you, you could say the own goal was a mistake, and that definitely was a mistake. Nice goal. Shame it was supposed to be at the other end, really. I'm going to start by being very negative, if I haven't been already. And I thought I was going to tap into my Google Translate into French shit for Pogba.
Interesting. He
was caught on the ball in the first half, I believe, about 6 times. He was slow. The ball, the game slowed down every time he got it. And one goal was disallowed offside because he couldn't kick it straight away.
This is true. However, would you like to know who got man of the match?
Go on.
Paul Pogba.
Why?
So here is stats. 82% pass accuracy, 12 ball recoveries, 4 passes into the box, 3 attempted take-ons, 3 successful take-ons, 3 interceptions, 2 successful tackles, and 4 fouls suffered. So essentially, it was suggested his itty-bitty work in the middle of the park was what made him very good. I missed a bit at the beginning, but the line they used on BBC Sport was Paul Pogba is playing well. However, when I turned on, with about half an hour left, I didn't see him do anything good. So I know where you're coming from, and they would have scored their second if he wasn't so slow on the ball. And he did get caught a couple of times. However, I do think he was a lot better than he has been for United.
Yes, probably the word I used is a bit unfair, but I thought he looked the weak link in the chain for shifting that ball around that French team. When you looked at Mbappe, blimey, the speed of the guy. Yeah. He wants it like that. It's boom, 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 round, through, up, down. Not, I've got the ball. Let me just fiddle with it and then I'll pass it on. And that's what it felt like. Every time he got it, everything come to a stop until he decided and just made his mind up what he was going to do with it. Mate, I sometimes do wonder whether I am so biased I see something completely different to everybody else. And if you think I'm being really poor and biased, then you can write that underneath. I'd be interested to know whether I am now so biased because I don't like the guy that I actually see things completely different.
I think the problem with it is that we've been led to believe for I don't even know how many years at this point that Paul Pogba is supposed to be one of the best players in the world, and we have never seen it for however many of those years have been. But when he has a good performance, everyone goes, "Oh, told you so." And it's just like, well, no, because he's not going to do that in the next game, is he?
No.
He'll have one.
You see Kante, and it's
Kante was unreal.
Yeah, and him standing next to him, and you think, how can you give him man of the match? I don't get that.
It's like every year giving the Ballon d'Or to someone else other than Messi, because no one's talked about Messi this year, and yet he's been the best player on the planet by a mile. But yeah, I think Pogba was good, but overhyped. Definitely. Also, did you see Rudiger and what he tried to do?
The little bite.
That was good.
The little
nom nom. No one's mentioned it really though. Like, there's
they did it half time on the box.
Did they?
They kept looking at it, trying to make their mind up what it was he was actually doing.
Well, it looked a bit weird, didn't it? 'Cause it wasn't a full-on Suarez bite.
But it looked like he was trying to make love.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like it was Valentine's Day or something.
I don't know whether.
Buddies.
I think if Pogba complains, then he'll probably get a ban, but I don't know whether he will. It was just a bit weird, to be honest.
Well, it was strange, yeah.
Like with Suarez, it's like you can see it was a bit malicious and vicious, etc. Whereas with this, it was just a bit like,
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll probably buy him some flowers or something, you know. Yeah, that was definitely odd. The other thing I want to say is I'm gonna have to learn to say his name properly for when he comes over here.
Mbappe.
Not overly impressed. I thought what he could do well was run fast. Doesn't make him a good footballer. Sometimes seems to overrun it slightly. Needed to have slowed down before reaching the line to be able to cross it better. Because it's no good getting there before everybody else and crossing the ball. I mean, that's pointless. Your team have got to get up there with you. But thought he looked interesting and exciting, and I'm wondering in another game. I'm interested to see, because I haven't seen much of him. You see, I'm fascinated to know just what he's like. Actually,
I suppose really the last time you would have seen him would have been the last World Cup, like watching him week in, week out. I agree. I don't think he had the best of games, but if in a relatively uninteresting game he is keeping you excited and on the edge of your seat kind of thing, it's probably only a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought, in terms of Germany, I thought Kimmich kept them ticking the whole time, but then when they got up the top, looked a bit, I don't know, lack of ideas, was it? Potentially.
I don't know. I mean, they weren't. I mean, when you think, okay, we're all sort of jumping up and down for joy with France being the best. It was a German own goal that won the game.
Yeah.
Not them.
Agreed.
They didn't win the game. Germany lost it by sticking a ball in their own net once. That was all. I mean, when you try and think of how many saves that German goalkeeper had to make, I don't remember him diving across the goal. Do you?
No. But then I don't remember the French goalkeeper having to do it much either.
They cancelled each other out. That's what they did.
I think that it's probably quite an accurate advertisement of international football, in which the best teams just create blocks and cancel each other out. Realistically, that game is pretty much the exact same as England versus Croatia, in which two teams pretty much blocked each other out, apart from one moment in which we got a goal. That's what happens to the big teams in these big tournaments. It's weird. Because I guess maybe it's because the managers have so little time with the players that tactically the safest thing they can do is make them defensively sound.
But I think that's it. They don't have any time to come up with anything clever.
No.
So it has to be basic, and it has to be so basic that it's you lose is yeah you don't let a goal in is where you start. You don't lose if you let a goal in, so you don't let goals in.
Whereas the lower ranked international teams decide, stuff it, let's just go for it because that's what our attacking players know best.
Or they're just not good enough.
Or the defensive players are not good enough.
I mean, in the end, the difference was a German mistake. It wasn't a incredible moment by Mbappe.
No.
It was a dreadful error by a defender. And to be honest, if he'd kicked it properly, it would have gone in his own net. He was facing in the middle of his own net, kicking it in that direction. Didn't matter which part of the body it hit, it was going in his own net. I don't know what he was playing at, to be blunt about it. He was in the wrong place, touching the ball that was always going into his own net. Could have hit him on the nose and it would have gone into his own net. I mean, it didn't matter. He was just, I don't know what he was doing. I feel a little bit, how can I feel sorry for Germany? No, I've changed in that. I don't feel sorry for Germany. In some respects, I suppose I'm actually glad a team won it. I wasn't fussed which one. Because
this wasn't 0-0.
Well, it does offer the opportunity of one of those three teams going out. If it'd been a draw, they could have still got in by both teams beating Hungary. You could have got all of those three, Portugal, Germany, and France would have been going through. Now there's a chance because Germany could lose to Portugal and they will beat Hungary, but if it's not by a decent goal difference, they could be one of the third teams to go out.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because these two games haven't really offered us too much in terms of how the group will play out. So for us making predictions, it's impossible.
Is it? Well, you put 1-1, and I put 2-0 to France. So I guess I won that one as well. But we're not going to go into that because I didn't get the score right. Moving on, and we've got two things to do. I've got one subject I want to quickly touch on, and the second is the scores of the next few games. Okay, so you find those next few games, and I will ask this. Have you noticed VAR?
Hasn't done a lot.
Why? Why is it not having any effect on the tournament? We can't get through one game in the Premier League without there being controversy and argument. Why is VAR just doing its job here, but not in this country?
Is it doing its job? There's been a few things that we've suggested should definitely have been looked at.
So what is it not doing then? Is it just not taking part very often?
It's not going back to things, is it? Little things that should probably be given that we wouldn't have noticed before VAR, but because of VAR we do now notice.
Is it better in this? Is this how we should be using it?
The thing is, in this tournament so far, it's only really been used for offsides. It hasn't given a red card yet, has it?
No.
Which is a lot of what it's used for in the Premier League. But then I suppose we haven't really seen a situation where that could have occurred. I think in relation to that, there was a stat earlier that in the first however many games there have been so far, there's been the least number 12. Of fouls given away. 12. There's the least number of fouls given away at any major tournament at this stage. It's very low. So maybe that's got something to do with it as well. people giving away fouls less.
Okay, because we haven't had hardly any penalty shouts either, have we?
No. I maybe they're just being more lenient with it, but I would have thought they'd announce that if they are doing something different with it, because they normally say.
There's been a few tackles in there that I thought, oh, that's a penalty,
Hmm.
and nobody's got up off the ground and said, I want a penalty. Nobody's been given a penalty. There's been no mention of even looking at it, and I'm thinking, how strange. I thought that was a penalty.
Well, if we use the Rusiger example, would they ever had a look at that in the Premier League? I would have thought they would.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe that
could have been a red card incident, couldn't it?
Yeah, maybe they're only looking at the big things in this tournament.
It seems to be a lot more on the ref. The ref is in control. It's got nothing to do with VAR. Ref is using VAR, not the football teams or the players.
And so far, I guess that's better.
Yeah. So the ref is using it as a little thing to help him when he calls upon it. And he's not calling on it very much. He's just getting the games running. And with a bit of luck, maybe we can bring that over here. And the other thing is they're not holding their flags. They're not keeping their flags down for 3 minutes until raising them after the ball's run into the net.
They did for Hungary, but
on the whole, they are actually raising their flags when it's offside.
Maybe they're international referees, I guess, has taught different to English referees.
Because there's only one English referee, isn't there?
And he was for Denmark, wasn't he?
Yeah, he ended up with a fun one. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, well, I should keep my eye open on that one. I've been interested with that because I'm boring. What with this shirt?
Something like that.
Oh, I've got a better shirt than this. But your mum wouldn't let me buy the one I really want.
Why are you wearing it? You've just been at the youth club or what?
Well, I've been up there, yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
But that isn't why I'm wearing a shirt.
No, you didn't go.
Just comfy.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. Getting through the trouble, that is the problem with this FOTMob thingy, looking at tomorrow's games.
Hey, I've got them in front of me already.
Oh, good, because I've got Canada Haiti at 2:00 in the morning.
That ain't it.
No, Euros. Okay, now I need to write these down so I can put them on here. Okay. Turkey, Wales. Is this where we're going to?
Mm-hmm.
You got in front of you. You go. You read them in your order. Is there none at 2:00 in the morning? 2:00 in the morning. 2:00 in the afternoon.
There is, but it's Group B. Hence, they put the Group A ones first.
Okay.
Turkey, Wales. I want Wales. Whether they do or not, I don't know. I feel like it might be a draw. I reckon 1-1 again.
You're going 1-1.
I don't want it to be. I think it will be though.
I think Turkey are going to win it. Can I see Wales scoring a goal? That's the question. I can. So I'm going to have to go 2-1 to Turkey. I don't want that, I might add. I hope I'm wrong. I want Wales through so we can smash them 6-0 in the next round or something.
Oh, that's not for your wife's sake, is it?
No, I want to put them out. That's what
nice.
I want the smug look in Scotland and Wales to show England smacked you.
Right. I'm sure Mum will be well pleased.
Yeah. Hope she's wearing her shirt.
Right. Italy, Switzerland.
Italy, Switzerland.
Italy looked good, didn't they? 2-0.
I thought Switzerland didn't look bad, though. I don't think they're going to find that quite as easy. I'm putting that down for a draw. Does that come as a surprise?
Yeah.
I'm putting that down for a 1-1. I think Switzerland will keep Italy out. Italy have a particular style of play, although it's not so defensive in this anymore. I think Switzerland can catch them. I think they'll be terrified of on the break. They're not Turkey. They're not going to do a Turkey. They're not doing a Christmas.
No.
Okay.
Right. Finland, Russia.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Flipping.
Finland. Yes. Pookie.
Yes, stuff it. 1-0 Finland.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going higher. I reckon it's going to be 2-0 Finland. Okay. I think they've got enough in their bag to get a couple. And I think Russia just fell apart.
What? Even though Finland had one shot in their last game.
Yeah. I think this is theirs. They're playing Russia, and I think Russia have looked one of the worst.
Fair enough.
Ever.
Right.
A bit over the top,
bit harsh.
but it is getting up to 11 o'clock, so I'm getting a bit like that now. It's my beddy boys time.
Oh, bless you. Right. Denmark, Belgium. 3-0 Belgium.
See, you do get the icing on the cake. You do get the Belgian bun, you see, by having the first go at this. What did you say?
It really is nearly your bedtime, isn't it? I said 3-0.
Right.
That's not a comment you'd normally come out with.
No. But Denmark, Belgium. Denmark, what are they supposed to do?
They're not going to be in the mindset for it, are they?
See, they said about, we shouldn't have carried on playing. We should have, done it the next day. I don't think it'd make a blind bit of difference. I don't think it changes anything. Whether they kicked off 10 minutes later, a day later, or a week later, it sort of killed the whole thing for them.
Mm.
I think Belgium would take them to the cleaners. But would they? If they're 3-0 up, would they go to 4? So I'm going to go 0-2. I don't think Belgium are beaten by more than 3. Okay, is there one more?
What?
Games?
There's 5 more technically.
Oh, okay. Quick. Well,
are we doing Thursday and Friday?
No.
Oh, just Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 2 more. Ukraine, North Macedonia. 2-0 Ukraine.
Two-all.
Fair enough. And finally, Netherlands, Austria. I reckon that could be another high-scoring one with Netherlands. 3-2 again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Austria looks half decent.
1-1. No. 2-1. 2-1. Okay. So if you want to risk it, anybody, because I've noticed nobody's predicted their scores underneath. But give it a go. See if you can beat me, because Kieran can't.
Oh,
and
nice.
On that, we'll say, well, Zogum Zasega, or goodbye for now in North Macedonian.
Well done.
Impressed.
Quality research from you, buddy. I loved it.
Oh, you're not going to say goodbye then?
Oh, well, am I supposed to do it in some weird
French,
language?
you said.
Let me look it up.